Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, this is Jophia DIY and Formulation, and on this channel I teach professional cosmetic formulations and tips and the production of quality household and personal care products. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to make a moisturizing hair shampoo from start to finish. So as we formulate together, I will explain the purpose of each ingredient, why I used it or use them, and share a few personal or professional tips that will help you produce a stable and high quality shampoo. So put your eye on the screen. As usual, I'm going to list the ingredients on the screen. I'll also list it all the ingredients towards the end of this video. So I'm going to use water. Water is the first ingredient you're going to use. Water is the foundation of this formulation because it helps to dissolve and carries most of the ingredients. And make sure you always use a clean or distilled water to improve product quality and shelf life. The next ingredient is EDTA. I noticed that many beginners skip this step, this ingredient, because I don't know why, but to me, it plays an important role. Not to me, it plays an important role. EDTA helps to bind metal ions that may be present in the water you are using. So these metal ions can affect the appearance, stability, and even the effectiveness of your preservative. So adding EDTA helps give your shampoo a better long-term stability. If you've been following me for a while or for some time, you'll notice that I do add EDTA in every of my water-based products. So I added it to the water, I stirred it and keep aside. I'm going to use the water to hydrate my hair. Hydroxyethylcellulose. Okay, it's a thickener that I'm going to use here, but it's very important to hydrate it properly. Okay, if you rush like hydrating it properly, you're going to have a problem. You end up with lumps that are difficult to remove. So taking your time to add it to your water and stir it very well will give you a good smooth and professional looking shampoo. Okay, so I've added it to the water. I'll stir it very well, make sure that it dissolves completely, then I'll stir it for another 1 to 2 minutes before shifting it aside for it to hydrate, because it needs to properly hydrate before you can turn it or put it or mix it in your product. Okay, so this is my bowl. I'm going to measure out my Texapon. Now, why am I using Texapon or SLEAS, sodium lauryl sulfate? It is the main cleansing ingredients that we're going to use for this. Texapon or SLES is the main cleansing ingredient in this formulation. It is responsible for removing dirt, excess oil, sweat, and product buildup from the hair and scalp. So when adding a surfactant like this SLES, you need to, like pre-dissolve it or stir it very well or gently to avoid trapping too much air into the product. Okay, which even if you do, it can leave your product for some time for the air to to go out, which creates, because too much air creates excessive foam during production. Me, I don't like it at all. I don't like excessive foam in production. So the next ingredient is sodium chloride, which is your table salt. Why am I using sodium chloride? Sodium chloride is a viscosity modifier. Okay, it will help to absorb the water in it. Okay, so the next ingredient I'm going to add is my cocamidopropylbutene, CAPB. It's a mild co-surfactant. The main surfactant it takes upon the co-surfactant we are using, that cocamidopropylbutene. Okay, it helps to boost the foam, it reduces irritation, and it also improves the viscosity of this product. Okay, and it will make this shampoo to be milder, it will make it to be milder, it will not be too harsh. Okay, and it will help to reduce the harshness of the main surfactant, which is the Texapon, because it's a sulfate based surfactant. Do you get? So cocobutene will help create a creamer lather when you're using it to wash. So I'm beginning to add my thickener I dissolved earlier. Okay, do you see that I'm adding the thickener I dissolved earlier gradually and I'm telling as I am doing so. Okay, please follow the steps I am showing in this video if you want to achieve the exact thing I have achieved. Like, I'm not joking with this. It's not hype. I'm not hyping this hair shampoo, but if you want that premium, if you want quality hair shampoo, though it is not cost effective, but this is quality. This is quality. Don't worry, just be watching. You will see the ingredients that are used in this shampoo. Okay, and I want to say one thing again. Maybe I will say that later. Keep watching. So you can, if you have a stick blender, you can use. Okay, but I don't like too much foaming whenever I'm producing my surfactant based products. Yeah, so I'll keep on adding my water gradually. I'm not going to add all the water at once, because the total water I measured or I calculated for this formulation is what I measured out, and that's what I'm going to use. I won't add any other water, and I won't reduce. Okay, so keep watching. Now, can you see the viscosity I've gotten? It looks light, right? It looks liquefied, but don't worry, just use exact ingredient and quantity I used here, and you achieve the same result as mine. So the next ingredient I'm going to measure out is my preservative. Okay, you can use any preservative you like, but I'm using sodium benzoate here because the pH of this product requires me to use it. I said before that using preservative in your product, you need to know the pH of your product before you decide the preservative you're going to use. If you're making a product that requires pH 10 to 11, it won't just come and add sodium benzoate to it. It's just a waste of money, waste of the preservative. It's not going to work. It's not going to work effectively. Okay, so preservative is it's going to be a topic for another day. I'll create some and make a video or a post about preservative. So I just take part of the water and dissolve the sodium benzoate. I added it to the product we are making. I'll stir very very well. Now, why are we using preservative? You're using preservative to protect the shampoo against bacteria, against yeast, against mold. It helps to extend the shelf life. Simple. Okay, so the next ingredient are my actives. Okay, the first one is polyquaterem 7 or polyquat 7. Okay, it's a conditioning polymer that leaves the hair feeling soft. It makes your hair feel softer. If your hair has been soft before, it will make it softer. Okay, it reduces static. I don't know whether you know what I mean by static. It reduces static from the hair, and it also makes the combing of your hair easier. Okay, it is not necessary. It is not a must that you add polyquaterem 7 to your hair shampoo, but based on the formulation I was paid for, it's a must I use polyquaterem 7. So if you don't want this quality of this polyquat 7 in your hair shampoo, please remove it. The next ingredient is dipanthenol. Dipanthenol is also known as provitamin B5. It helps to improve the moisture retention. Okay, it enhances shine. It supports a healthier looking hair. The next ingredient is my protein. I use 2 protein here. I use wheat protein and soy protein. Okay, the proteins help to strengthen the hair, okay, the hair shafts, okay, and it improves manageability. It also reduces breakage, by forming a protective film on your hair shaft. Okay, so that's the active I used in this hair shampoo. So if you don't want the quality of these actives that I mentioned, please, you can remove the actives. It's not a must to add them. You can remove them. But if you have a high paying customers, if you have customers that want quality shampoo, that know what they want, that want the qualities I mentioned in this video, you can use these ingredients for them. So I added that. You notice that it's liquefied the product more. It's made the mixture become lighter in viscosity. Do you see that? The viscosity has become lighter, but don't worry, it will come back. So let's continue. Now the next ingredient is my glycerin. Okay, I would have added my glycerin together with my water, but I didn't do that because I want to dissolve my menthol in it. I want to use glycerin to dissolve my menthol. Okay, glycerin is a humectant that helps to attract and retain moisture. It helps to improve the hair. It makes the hair soft, and also hydrates your hair after washing it immediately. Okay, so this is my menthol I'm adding. Why did I add menthol? I want it to have this refreshing feel on the scalp. Okay, that's why I'm adding it. It also provides a cool soothing sensation during washing your hair. The client did not ask me to do it though, but I'm just doing it. So if I told her if she doesn't want menthol, she can remove it. Okay, if that she wants something soothing on the hair while washing the hair, she can use the menthol or any other soothing agent or refreshing agents ingredients. Okay, I also added the propylene glycol to this. Okay, because I noticed that the menthol was not dissolving faster. Yeah, I know that it's not going to dissolve faster because I use glycerin. So I added little propylene glycol, which is also a humectant. It helps to penetrate other ingredients to the hair shaft. All right, so this is me stirring the menthol. It's not dissolving, but if I heated it up, it's going to dissolve. Yeah, but I didn't heat. I don't want to heat anything in this video. Okay, so it has melted and I've added it to the product. I'll mix it very, very well. So this video is becoming longer than I expected, but I just want to show you the steps because I promised somebody that I'm going to share this. So it's better I share it to everybody than one person for free. So this is me checking the pH of this hair shampoo. I got around 6. Okay, see the pH, it's around 6. That's 6 or 6.5. So it is not what I want. I want it to have pH 5 to 5.5. Okay, so what did I do? I had to reduce it with an acidic ingredient or an acidic buffer or anything. Okay, that this buffer solution I made for adjusting or reducing the pH of my product. I don't want to use that. I want to show you exactly how I can use citric acid to reduce the pH. Okay, I have calculated the actual amount of citric acid needed to reduce the pH of this product to give me pH 5. Okay, if I start saying that, explaining that in this video, it's going to take this video to 30 minutes. Okay, so just what do? Just take a little quantity of your citric acid, measure it out, don't pour it direct into your product. Okay, just dissolve it with water. Did you see me? I added water. I will mix it very well, make sure that it dissolves, then I add it to the product, then mix it very, very well and check the pH again. Please, if you watch this video to this very point, thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for watching, thank you for learning, and thank you for, I know you must have shared this video. Thank you for sharing, thank you for subscribing, thank you for your lovely comment in the comment section, thank you for always coming here, thank you for your support. I'm not taking it for granted. So this is me stirring it. After stirring it, I will check the pH again to know if I am on track. If I'm not on track, I will adjust it again. So if I've checked the pH and it's above 6, I will still reduce it. If it's below 5, I will still raise it up. So can you see the pH now? We are on track. We are on track. I use 2 pH strips to check it, and yeah, we are on track. Okay, so anytime you're making a product and you are confused with the pH you got, please do well to reach me with this number you're seeing on the screen right now, please, to guide you on that. There are things I help people to achieve for free. There are things I charge, okay, to help people achieve. But for this adjusting of pH, I'll teach you that. I will help you do that for free. So this is me measuring my color. Okay, you can use any color of your choice. You can use orange, you can use blue, you can use green, you can use pink, you can use any color. You can leave it plain. Okay, I've measured the exact quantity of color needed. If I told you that I use 5 grams of color and you end up using 5 grams of color, it may not come out, it may be too much. So that's why I don't usually tell people the exact quantity of color to use in their product, except you got the color direct from me. Okay, I will know that this is the percentage needed for this particular product. All right, and again, adding color of choice to your product depends on what your brand represent? What is your brand saying? What are they telling people? Is it a luxury brand? Is it a natural product based brand? Color tells people a lot, like luxury brand, like natural brand, like baby brand, like women based product brand and all that. Okay, so this is the color. Do you see that? Is it beautiful? But I love it. That's orange. I love it. So the next thing is me adding my fragrance. You can use any fragrance of your choice, but I use a combination of fragrance and essential oil here. So you can use your fragrance. You can use it at 0 0.2, 0.3, 0.5. You can use essential oil, but I used essential oil and fragrance together because that is what the person told me the specific fragrance I should use. Okay, and yeah, you got it. So I've just diluted the fragrance with water. I know we have extra water left. I just mixed it and added the remaining water now and stirred very very well for it to everything. Can you see the viscosity? I told you that it's going to come out thick. It will be thicker by the next morning, okay, because all the ingredients are going to combine together and do what they're supposed to do to each other by binding together. So this is it. I'm going to cover it and come check it the next day. And surprisingly, I left it for 4 days because I was busy with other stuff. I didn't come to the workshop. So this is it after some days. And can you see how it is? Is it beautiful? Just be honest with me. Is it beautiful? I want to hear your honest review in the comments. Is it beautiful or not? Please let me know if it's beautiful. Can you see? So that's our finished moisturizing hair shampoo, okay, that is designed to clean your hair effectively, without stripping the natural oil from your hair or stripping or drying your hair. It's to make your hair soft. It's condition your hair because of the conditioning ingredients used, and it's also refreshed your hair. You're going to pour into your desired packaging container. You can use any container of your choice and package it. I used about 2 just to show the person the sample. So if you found this tutorial or this teaching or this training helpful, like this video, subscribe for more cosmetic formulation tutorials, and don't forget to leave your question in the comments. Okay, see you in the next one. Remember, always be safe wherever you are. Bye for now.